general aviation aviator, and today we are going to take the Pilatus, the PC-12, and fly it from Statesville, North Carolina to Wilmington, North Carolina. We're going to make a quick stop in Virginia to drop off some photographers. That's only 32 miles north, so that doesn't pay very much, but I thought I'd just go ahead and accept the mission. So what FSEconomy does is it allowed me to fly missions and make virtual money that I can spend later in the FS economy environment on aircraft, maintenance, gas, whatever that's available to buy and purchase or trade in that environment. One thing I do like about the PC-12 is that it is an extremely versatile aircraft. This guy is able to get in and out of short runways, and it's really, really easy to fly. Now, this is the Coronado version, and I do love the skin and the way that Coronado aircraft look. They literally make some of the best looking aircraft, in my opinion, available. However, their aircraft is modeled, in my opinion, a little bit, well, somewhat more than default aircraft, but a lot less than what a really good modeled aircraft would be. Some of the systems, while they appear to work, they're not really tied to anything. But, I digress. That's just one of my complaints about Coronado aircraft. And the reason I bring these complaints up in each of my videos, or just about every one of my videos, is because I want Coronado to step up their game. Now, I'm parked at Statesville at the hangar, and right now my frame rates are abysmal. Looks like I'm getting about 10 frames per minute. And you can really see that when I glance to when I turn to the right, there's no traffic over there, and I turn to the left, it just takes forever to turn because with each view, the graphics card's got to redraw that scene. But nevertheless, let's get started. Now, in this episode, what I'm going to do is go by the checklist. So I do have a checklist for this aircraft. I think the author of this checklist, I believe, is SimCoders. Okay, so file flight plan,
External PWR switch, OHP.
and that is loud. So I'm gonna, well, actually don't want to turn that down. What I want to do is come here and not, yeah, sound, and turn some stuff down here. And actually, those don't look crazy loud. Um, so the question, and that thing is going to make a sound each time I touch something, which is why I really want to find the sound on this so I can turn it down a little bit. Uh, that's the wrong program, X camera, and X camera is not what I'm looking for. Um, X checklist. Okay, and then settings. Do I have a settings button? Uh, Open setup, and I tell you what I'm gonna do. So, let's see. I don't see a way to turn the settings down. So without that, if I'm gonna use the full checklist, I'm gonna ask you to bear with me. I know how annoying it can be to try to watch a video while you say sitting in the bed and everything is at an even kill, and then something comes on that blows you out of the water, wake up your neighbors. So I'm gonna apologize in advance for that. Okay, so external power switch, and external power
On. A by an X1 switch, OHP. On. A by an X2 switch, OHP. On. ///// file flight plan with ATC //////.
Okay, so I'm not going to
Check.
do AVT,
A by an X1 switch, OHP.
ATC. So I'm just going to go back up here.
Off. A by an X2 switch, OHP. Off. External PWR switch, OHP. Off. EPS switch, SPL. Armed. Non-SOVRD switch, OHP. Auto. STBY bus switch, OHP. On, up. Bat left switch, OHP. On. AM/BDC 0.08, 24.0V, OHP. Check. Test lamp switch, OHP. Test. All De-Icing switches, OHP. Off. Inertial separator switch, OHP. Off. All cooling and heating switches, OHP. Off. Passwing no SMKG switch, OHP. Off. Seat switch, OHP. Off. All external light switches, OHP. Off. LH and RH fuel pump switches, OHP. Auto. Ignition switch, OHP. Auto. Yellow caution and red warning, IPL. Cancel. Landing gear lights 3 green, SPL. Check. EFIS switch, SPL. CMSTP. Cabin pressure switch, EPR. Auto. ECS switch, EPR.
Manual.
Man. Cabin contract, current Alt plus 500, EPR.
Okay, so I had a problem with this yesterday, and because this is my second time going through this full chat list, and okay, cabin control, current altitude plus 500 feet. Okay, so I think that needs to be there, and increase. So yeah, this button here in the Pilatus, and the coronata Pilatus is not modeled. And again, that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about.
Set. Right side oxygen lever, PD. On. Trim and flap interrupt switches, PD.
And they should be normal. Yep.
Norm. Manual override red lever. Off. Power. Ground. Condition lever. Cut off. Flaps, PD. 0 degrees. Red fuel and ECS emergency, PD. Full in. BAT2 switch, OHP. On. AM/VDC 0.08, 24V, OHP. Check. NAV switch, OHP. On. Pass wing no SMKG switch, OHP.
Passenger wing, no smoking.
On. Pusher and fire, audible warning, OHP. Check. Parking brake. Set. Fuel quantity, EIS.
Okay, FSE is going to set our fuel quantity.
Check. DCV both 008, 24.0V, EIS. Check. Fuel reset switch, EIS.
And the fuel reset switch, EIS, I could not find. Turn this off. I looked for it before and I couldn't find it. So I really don't expect to find it now, but just in case I get lucky, if you guys know where it's at, leave it in the comments. These buttons are not modeled. And EIS would be electronic information system. Okay, here it is. And so reset, I'm clicking it, I'm not seeing anything happen.
Reset. / request engine start /
That's not applicable.
Check. Beacon switch, OHP.
OHP is overhead panel.
On. Test button, EIS.
Okay.
Check. Yellow caution and red warning, IPL.
Okay.
Cancel. Starter switch, OHP. Push. Condition lever, NG 12%.
Okay. 12%. I can add gas. Go to ground. Hard to see. Ground idle, it's right there. And looks like I got a good start. NG is above 50.
GRND idle. Engine oil psi 8 psi, EIS. Wait.
Okay.
ITT after 20 SEC 800 degrees, EIS. Wait. Power RNG 50 to 54%. Set. Gen 1 switch, OHP.
Okay, so little this stuff sometimes they get a little bit ahead of me. But the engine oil is greater than 8. Yep. Uh, ITT after 20 seconds says it should be less than 800. Check. Okay. And Gen 1 and 2.
On. Gen 2 switch, OHP. Avion X1 switch, OHP. On. Avion X2 switch, OHP. On. Inverter Gen 1 switch, OHP. Gen 1. STBY bus switch, OHP. Off. ECS switch, EPR.
ECS. And let's turn this guy off.
Off.
See, it's not modeled, so
TRQ. Torque, 3.5 psi, EIS.
okay, TRQ, and that's on the display here. And so torque. Oh, torque. Duh. 3.5. It's less than, yeah, it's less than 2.5. Okay. All right.
Check. NP. Propeller, 900 RPM,
All right.
EIS.
And
Check. Oil psi green zone, EIS. Check. Yellow caution and red warning, IPL. Cancel. Warning panel, CP.
okay, the warning panel is this guy here, and I don't have a caution or warning light. So I guess that's good. All right. And let me my get this back where it's supposed to be. Uh-oh, I'm crashing. I'm crashing. Doggone it. Graphics card couldn't keep up. And when I say I was crashing, the 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 Explain program crashed. So I'm gonna try to get I'm I'm just gonna try to start, well, I don't know how to start from where I left off. Um, and
Checking updates.
it's interactive. So it sucks that it crashed. One of the reasons it crashed is
Updates finished.
because Explain is literally having to draw the screen twice. Um, but I've been able to stream before, and I don't think I was having frame rate issues. So I wonder what changed. I wonder what changed. So, intermission, guys. It explains such a large program, and pretty much everything runs from memory. So it literally can take X-plane 90 to 127, maybe even 187 start up. I mean, it is a massive program, which is why it's so painful when it crashes because having to sit and wait for it to reload makes it not a lot of fun. So let's read this. Did you know MSL is an abbreviation term used to denote altitude above mean sea level? The altimeters in aircraft measure altitude above mean sea levels and not above the ground. The term AGL is above ground level, and radio altimeters are used to report altitudes AGL. So when radio altimeters refer to AGL, so when now I don't get that because I rely on my radio altimeter all the time, and or the the altimeter that's in my cockpit, and that is MSL, um, mean sea level, because I could be at my altimeter at RDU is usually about 420, which when I'm sitting on the tarmac or on the apron, and if it showed me above the ground, then that would mean that I would be above. I'd be 420 feet above the ground. Um, the term AGL refers to ground level, and radio altimeters are used to report altitudes and AGLs. Now, what is a radio altimeter? I'm not sure what, when I'm talking on the radio to ATC, and I think they tend to refer to AGL also. Anyway, that might be worth trying to understand. So I am going to go, well, do some more house maintenance. I did this before the other startup, so I want to go here and turn traffic global off to get rid of this red message. Okay, and then I want to go here, turn Xpilot off, and go back and turn traffic global back on, because I'm not going to use Xpilot. Um, the reason is because I'm flying VF Aura today, and check my sounds again, check my sound levels. The reason is because I'm flying VF Aura, and the the weather outside is actually um, the weather outside is actually IFR, instrument flight rules. And if I use real weather, then I would have very limited or very low visibility. Okay, so let's go back here and go to the chat list, open setup, and let's turn off. So turn Copilot on. Okay. Um, I don't fly with a co-pilot. I don't fly aircraft that require two pilots. Okay, so let's show the GUI. I'm not even sure what that means. Um, translucent windows. Show chat list if chat list exists. Okay, voice prompt. Let's turn off voice prompt. And that way we might be able to get back to where we were real quick. Translucent window. Okay, so it said move it down. I'm not sure what that did, but see if I can't bring it back up. Open setup. Okay. I think that just closes the window for me. And save. So let's save that. And let's do nets, pre-flight, open all doors. Um, and well, look like we actually started the pre-flight. So let's just go through and check off this stuff. Because we've been through all of this, been through all of that, and been through all of that. And okay, so let me get caught up with my checklist basically. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go up here to our overhead panel. See. Okay, so we're gonna turn our battery on and adjust our levers. Gonna hit our starter button. Now lights come on, I believe. Okay, and send it to ground idle. All right, got a good start, and I know we do, so I'm not gonna go through all that. Okay, and let's see, that was on, standby bus was off, external power is supposed to be off. I think that was off. And actually, I want to shut it down. Okay, I'm gonna start up my ACARS program. And just bear with me. I know you guys cannot see what I'm doing. Hey, what's going on? What you just Ifus. Hey, bro. I know I'm butchering your name, but uh, apologies for that. Okay, so uh, throw in a password here. And let's see if that one works. Yeah, that worked. Okay. So Statesville, and I'm gonna try to enter this real quickly because I know you can't see it. Arrival. The first arrival is gonna be. Let me jump back into KZEF. KZEF and flight number 01, let's see, VSA 012, and passengers two. Actually, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I got 8 or 9 passengers on. Yeah, 9 passengers on board. And altitude is going to be 32 nautical miles. We'll do 3,500 feet. And cargo, we'll do 20 kilos, which is 44 pounds of cargo. And the route's going to be direct. And we'll start that one. Say okay for fuel. And okay. Okay, so I think that flight is started. And what ACARS does, the reason I'm starting it in the background is because it will um, manage it will manage my flight. So yeah. And EUDIS FDIS. Sorry for butchering your name. If you're still with me. Okay. All right. So, and then we want to start aircraft backup. And doesn't take much to start this aircraft once you do it a few times, but it does. I hate that I got off from my list, but that's okay. Oh man, I didn't turn my beacon light on. Okay, maybe ACARS won't deem me for that. Okay. And are we getting a good start? Yep, got a good start. All right. Battery 2, Gen 1, and what I want to try and do is get back to where I was. Yeah, thank you for the following. Okay, so get back to where I was. I really appreciate it. Okay, push fire. Yeah, I've done that. And I didn't check the parking brakes. I think I'm back to where I was. I left all the levers in the position that they were in when the sim crashed. So hopefully, well, ECS I think was supposed to have been off. So some things may have changed. Okay, fuel quantity. I, yeah, I remember saying that FSEconomy will take care of that fuel reset button. I just found that on this flight. Um, so request engine start. So we go through all that test. Yellow cautions are not on. Starter condition. So we've gotten past all of that. Avionics. Um, Environmental control system that was off. Yep, I just turned that off. Torque is greater than 3.5. Is that, let's see, greater than, less? Torque is actually less than 3.5. Okay, yeah, so. All right, so we got our torque greater than 3.5. Um, and nav, GPS comms, and all that good stuff we need to set. Okay, so let's go ahead and put in our flight plan. Okay, so come on, flight plan. All right. And what I want here is, hopefully you can hear the engines. I should probably turn that up just a little bit so you can hear the engines. Now, our flight plan. Let's get our flight plan and okay, so we're gonna fly straight direct to Kilo Zulu Elko Foxtrot. Kilo Zulu Elko Foxtrot. Elkins Municipal. Enter, accept, and clear RDU. Okay, so that's 32 nautical miles, 31.9 from our location. And we've got that in. Okay, and now got that in, and then we're gonna climb out at, well, we're gonna climb up at 3,500 feet. For this flight, so we don't need to get that high. Actually, we probably could have did 2,500 feet. I don't think there's any terrain that's going to be a factor. Um, and we'll go ahead and climb at our max rate of 800 feet, 1,800 feet a minute. Okay. All right, so that's done. All right, transponder says standby, so we're going to turn it on and on standby. On, and it's on, and then standby. Okay, good there. Altimeter. Okay, so we need to get our ATIS to check the altimeter. And our ATIS for Statesville is, our ATIS frequency for Statesville is 119.225 and 119. Oh, wow. Now I'm up to 25. Now I'm up to 25 frames per second. So whatever, I guess the aircraft, it actually needed to crash because I couldn't figure out why my frame rates had jumped down so low. Okay, so now where were we? We were going to put in our frequency for Statesville, which was, I should have wrote that down. Um, Statesville is 119.225, and AWAS for Elks is, since I'm into my map, I actually don't see it. Do have an NDB up there, but unfortunately I can't fly it because my aircraft doesn't have that model. The frequency up there is 123.05. but the there is a AWAS for nearby air um, station. Look like it's about 7 miles away, and that's 126.625. And if any of you guys are wondering what AWAS is Automatic Weather Observation System. Okay, some places have um, ASOS, AWAS, and ASOS, and they basically are the same thing. The ASOS is Automatic Surface Observation Center System. Okay, so I got a frequency, and let's dial that in. That was 119.2, 119.2 something, 225. That's why you write stuff down. Of course, some of you guys can probably glance at stuff like that and remember it. And the AWAS at the S destination is 126.625. So let's get that one on in there so that we can stay ahead of the aircraft. Okay, and we've done that. Okay, we got to get the AWAS so we can set our altimeter, which would tell us how far above sea level we are. Okay, so altimeter is this ready. We just put in the frequency that's on COM2, and we're not getting the AWAS. 123.05.
Wilkesco weather. Wind 320 and 8.
Okay, we don't need
Visibility more
Wilkesco.
than 10.
123.
Sky clear. Temperature 1. Dew point minus 33. Altimeter 3004.
You know, I put the AWAS in the COM1, and I should have put it in COM2. That's why I'm not getting it. Okay.
Wilkesco weather. Wind 320 and 8. Visibility more than 10.
225 is what I want.
Sky clear. Temperature 1. Dew point minus 33. Altimeter
And
3004.
119. Okay, let's see if we can get it now.
Statesville RG.
There we go.
Weather. Wind 320 and 8. Visibility more than 10. Sky clear. Temperature 2. Dew point minus 33. Altimeter 3004.
Altimeter 3004. So winds 320 at 18. I'm sorry, 320 at 8. Okay, let's turn this stuff off. And Statesville CTAF is 123. 123.075. Okay, so let's do this here. 123. So yeah, I put the anyway. 123.075. Alrighty, and we are set on the AWAS, and then the AWAS for our destination is 123.05. All right, good way to stay ahead of the aircraft, especially with such a short distance to fly. And did we get the AWAS, the the altimeter, the altimeter for the other? Let's see. Oh, shoot, keep looking. Sorry about that, guys, but the altimeter for the other airport was 126 point. I mean, the not altimeter, but the ATIS was 126.625. So that's what I want to come to on standby. Okay, so check. All right, so I can move on my checklist. Um, 3004, I think he said. So let's change this to 3004. And let's go down and change this one. 3004. And just to double check, let's see what I feel elevation at Statesville is 968. Yep. So we are looking good on our altimeter. All right. Flaps 15 degrees. Let's get that set. Let's test autopilot. All, all ISL's flight directorizations. Okay, everything look good. Soft bank, half bank. Okay, and green IP and red, green autopilot and red light CP. I'm not sure what that means. Um, let's go up where we can see the lights up under here. And, okay, I'm not sure what that means. Green AP and red light control. See CP. I'm not sure what that means. Okay, and autopilot. Okay, all right. So I think that's what it means. Okay, so we did check that, and then autopilot's off. Yep. Okay, yeah, that's what it meant. Okay, and then the caution and warning lights off. Seat overhead panel. Okay, seat belts on and de-icing switch as needed. Inertia separator comes on. Cooling and heating switch. It's a little chilly outside. And additional cooling and heating as needed. Um, ARS and all that good stuff. This is not modeled, but it does say we want slave and CCW. Not sure what that means. And the the alternate stab trim does need to be adjusted. That's what this red light on my warning panel means. I like to some aircraft call it the annunciator. Hey, GA pilot, what's up, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm going through a chat list for the Pilatus PC 12. Okay, alternate trim. Okay, so we want to get that guy to go off. There we go. So we're looking good. And warning panels, no lights. All right, request taxi doesn't apply to us. Strobe lights come on, and taxi lights come on. Condition level should be at ground idle. And actually, it was at flight idle. Um, okay, park and brake release. So That's interesting because I'm just learning you do taxi this one at ground idle. A lot of aircraft you actually taxi at flight idle. Well, no, you taxi at ground idle. Um, okay, park and brake release. Check turn. Check turn. That's clear to the left and clear to the right. So steering checks out and the brakes checks out. Should have checked uh, left and right first. Okay, and reverse power check. Okay, my reverse power is checked and working. And go to holding point and set holding brake. Okay, so CTAF is 123.075. That's in the box. So and winds were, glad I wrote it down. I think I wrote it down. Winds were 320 at 8. So need to figure out which runway that's gonna be. So I know you can't see this, but I'm gonna jump into the map and look at the runway numbers at Sky Vector. So I got runway 28 and runway 10, and 320 is gonna give us 28. And it does matter because the winds are over four. Say I think it's 4 or 5 knots, maybe 6 knots where it really matter. Okay, Statesville traffic. Pilatus 9875 November is taxiing to runway 28 Statesville. Okay, so just check my heading book and runway 28 looks like it's gonna be on my, looks like I'm gonna taxi to my right to get to runway 28. Um, so So actually, I won't know until I actually find the runway itself. Okay, the runway itself was behind me. Okay, so I'm clearing for my turn. And okay, so I'm actually going to taxi to my left to get to runway 28. Now that I'm parallel with the runway, I can actually see that. I mean, now that I'm turning parallel to the runway. Because what I'm doing is I'm looking at my heading book, and in order to line up on 2.8, then I have to have 2.8 on the, at the taxi opposite of 2.8, which is runway 10. Okay, so I'm going to my holding point and set holding brakes. Okay, now this airport probably does not have a run up section, but I don't see any traffic behind me, so I can get to 2.8 and do a run up there. It does have, it does widen up so that as one aircraft get over here in the holding, um, let's see. Now, let me get out and take a look. Yeah. So, so yeah, it does have a little area where where if one aircraft is over here doing a run up and another one is ready to go, then it can get the 2.8. Okay, so now I want to swing in the direction of the wind, and doesn't have to be fully in the direction, but just basically then then set my brakes. Okay, brakes set. Okay, cooling switches, and that's on the overhead panel, off. And uh, left hand, right hand fuel pump goes on. Landing landing light switch comes on, and taxi comes off. Passenger no smoking goes on, and now I can get lined up. I actually thought I was going to do a run up, but I don't see a run up procedure, so I could have just did this at the runway. Okay, so I got my brakes off. Statesville traffic, Pilatus 987.5 November is taking off runway 28, and we'll be departing to the north, Statesville. Okay, so that's made. Transponder goes to out wing panel. Let's see. Oh, the warning panel. Parking brake is released, and line up. And it says line up and set parking brake. I'm just going to hold the brake. Okay, clear to my left, clear to my right. Get lined up. Okay. And condition level goes to flight hour, flight, flight, and release the brakes. Apply my torque. And I'm going to rotate at 80 knots. That's 60, 70, 80, rotate. And
FSE flight not started.
shucks, I forgot. Fortunately, I can start that, even though that happens so much that they don't make you land the aircraft. I hope I'm not crashing again. At least my sim. Okay, it's not great. Start flight. Okay, so I got my FSE flight started. Thank you. Okay, and okay, gear up and flaps up. Tap the was too late to tap the brake. All right. So landing light comes off, and air conditioner switch can go on now. That's auto. And we want to capture 3,500. Yaw damper comes on, autopilot comes on, and want to make sure that leg is activated. And we want to fly via the nav. And we are at cruising altitude. Don't have to worry about cabin pressure on this flight. Or the cabin rate, passenger, and no smoking signs are going to stay on this flight. So it's a seat belt. De-icing is, well, we're at -2 degrees, and it's kind of foggy. So I am going to turn the de-icing on for my probes. I'm not going to worry about them for my wings and my prop. Oh man, what happened here? De-icing and altimeter engine. Okay. All right, so we are in cruise, and we're gonna pull back on our torque since we're in cruise. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we use the autopilot. Now, the wind is turbulent at this altitude, but I did leave the seatbelt sign on. And it is also cloudy. So I am going to turn SkyMax Pro off. Because like I mentioned before, what I want is pretty much a clear day. Okay. And we are 7 minutes from our destination airport. And you can see how the turbulence has me, it's just buffeting the aircraft alone at this altitude. So while it may be clear, it is windy. Remember the song? Everyone knows it's windy. What's up, GA? Every time I see you and try to speak to you, you be gone. You don't stick around. You don't stick around long. All right, 21 miles. And let's look at our map for the airport that we are approaching. So looks like we've got look like we're approaching at 117 degrees, somewhere thereabout. And we got runway 7 and 25. I think we're gonna take 25. "17 miles out might start the runway should be good visual. We should be able to do a downwind for 25. Let's make sure that I don't see any restrictions for doing that downwind. Everyone knows when the boy, I just put a song in my head that's gonna stick with me. Um, yeah, we could do an R now for 25. That would mean that we would fly up to, yeah, let's do the R nav. Need to shoot some approaches anyway. All right, um, so to do the R nav, want to bring up this guy and then go to procedures, select approach, and select approach, enter. Okay, there we go. And well, we can't, what, oh man, this is RDU. Clear. Clear. Why is it giving me approaches for RDU when I'm clearly saying that my destination is activate, and then destination approach, select airport. Okay, got it this time. Select approach, and I don't get this. Clear. All right, so cancel. Clear. So I guess we are going to have to, okay, we're 10 miles out, so we need to get down. So I'm gonna take the aircraft and I'm gonna power it back. Get rid of this guy and find that airport. Okay, so this ought to be the airport. Is that the airport? Uh, if it is, I don't see. Okay, that's not the airport. This is the airport here. Okay, so I got the airport in sight. And let's go to that let's go to that CTAF 12305. Yep, that's it. And this was Elk Municipal. Elk traffic, Pilatus 9875 is inbound 6 miles on the 45 for a left downwind for 28 Elk traffic. Whoa. Now, in real life, that would have been a no-no. My hand hit the auto the auto reverse, and that would have been a catastrophic Okay, what is my airport elevation? Let's see if we can get ATIS.
Wilkesco weather. Wind 320 and 8. Visibility more than 10. Sky clear. Temperature 1. Dew point -33. Altimeter 3004.
I don't really know, but I can turn downwind now.
Wilkesco weather. Wind 320 and 8. Visibility more than 10.
Elks Municipal traffic, Pilatus 9875, turning downwind for runway 28 Elks. I hope it's 28. 25. Correction, downwind for runway 25 Elks. Let's see, now where is the airport? Don't see the airport. But I should have passed it. I want to see it. And I can't look back, so I should have. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn. Elks traffic, Pilatus 9875, turning left base, runway 25, Elks. Okay, gear down. And shouldn't drop gear in the turn. All right, let's swing and see if we find the airport now that we are turning where we think we're turning towards it. And I don't see it. Oh man, I've overshooting it. Elks traffic, Pilatus 9875, turning final, runway 25, and we overshot it, so we're gonna turn back Elks. We're turning back to line up with the runway Elks. Okay. And the reason I know I overshot it is because that's what my, at least I thought I had overshot it. Man, I had the hardest time finding these daggone airports. The hardest freaking time. And when the devil is it? Okay, I am going to just fly out. Okay, gear up. And just get reorientated. Okay. So it should be behind me. There's the track. Come on. Now, boy, these airports can screw up a nice flight when you when these aircraft that you get really limited visibility. But actually, that was poor planning on my part. Okay, I'm turning back towards the airport now, and I'm actually using my GPS to let me know when it when my nose should be headed towards it. All right, so now let me scan for it. Look out of the window here, and is that it? Yeah, I believe that's it. Okay, so I'm not gonna make any more radio calls until I'm on short final. I just wanna get lined up with it. Now what? Let's see, what is going on? Man, that just tore up my A cars. But I can't see this stupid little airport. Okay, so let's do this. Let's get back and turn our GPS on and have it get me back on track with it. All right, so what's our altitude? We're at 4,000 and descending at 500. So let's get down to, all right, let's turn on our, shoot. And maybe that's why in real life people find that they have to actually fly over the airport. But my autopilot should be taking me to the field. It knows where the airport is. All right, there it is right there in that little clearing. All right, there's a lake there and a field there. So I got caution on. Okay, cautions are off. Okay, I can lower my gear. And I'm back on downwind. And this time I lowered my gear for the drag to keep me slow. Else traffic, Pilatus 9875 is on downwind for runway 23. Hey, J Pilot, what's up? Lakes traffic, Else municipal traffic. Man, you don't stick around long enough to give me a chance to see you, and you just go, "What's up?" and be gone. Okay, so that lake, that clearing. Okay, so I'm on downwind. All right, so nose towards those mountains, flaps, a little bit of power, and keep my nose lowering. Keep that gear down for in the green. Else traffic, Pilatus 9875 is turning left base for 25 Elks. Okay, so I know if I overfly that opening, I'm going too far, so I'm gonna keep my turning. Elks traffic, Pilatus 9875 is turning final for runway 25 Elks. Okay, that's all right. So I'm looking for a little opening. There it is, and I want not wasn't quite on final. I got that highway, so if I turn to the left over top of that highway, that should line me up. One notch of flaps, I had dumped 2 notches, but I had to raise them. Okay, okay, and landing lights coming on. Lining up now. Power back to idle so I can continue my dive. I got trees as an obstacle. Hey, GA pilot. All right, so you're about to start your descent. Cool. I got lost looking for an airport, but I finally found it, and I'm on a short final myself. Okay, I got a crosswind component. Okay, another degree of flaps. Oh, your phone time's out. Okay, I know. Sometimes I see you, and I then I don't see you. Hard landing. Man, that's just gonna ruin my A car. This flight is just toward my A cars. Um, because I am using virtual sky aviation A cars to monitor this flight. And my A cars is just ruined on this flight. Else Municipal Pilatus 9875 November is clear of the runway. A cars Elks A cars. Okay, so now I can drop off my 2 FSE passengers. So I'm just gonna drop them off right here. Put that money in the bank and check my fuel. And I actually am gonna have to buy some fuel. So that might mean that I might need to power the plane down. Let's see if FSE Let's see if there is any fuel at this um, location. And oh wow, I do have some Jet A here. So I know you guys can't see what I'm doing right now, but I am at Elks, and I am going to buy 150 gallons. Let's see, actually 130 gallons of Jet A. Okay, and that should give me enough fuel to fly to that should give me enough fuel to fly to Wilmington. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this airport, which is KZEF, and my next arrival is Wilmington 013 BSA BSA 013. I'm just gonna call it GA because I'm not. This is not a virtual. GA013 is gonna be the flight number. And now I've got 6 passengers, and I'm going west. I'm going east, so and don't have any terrain, so I'm just gonna set the the flight level for 5,500 feet. The photographers had some equipment, so I don't have as much cargo now. And we need to put in the route. So we can go to Sky Vector and drop in the route here and start the flight. And okay, so this flight is now started. Engine is running, so I don't have to go through a startup procedure. Even though to put the gas in it, they would have made me turn the engines off, I'm sure. Jet A is a lot more flammable than gasoline. Okay, so this time, so we don't forget, we're gonna go ahead and start this flight. As you can see, my fuel quantity has come up, and I wonder what this little guy here is that bounces up and down. I'm not sure what that is. Um, so let's taxi back to 28 to 25. Elks traffic, Pilatus 9875, taxiing to runway 25 Elks. And am I going to have to back taxi? Yep. Elks traffic, Pilatus 9875, back taxiing to runway 25 Elks. All right, clear left, clear right, and then clear and turn left. Get my view intact. Frames are about 32 frames per second. I don't know what was killing my frames before when I didn't have the video capture software installed. I was getting 50, and when I loaded the video capture software, then I was getting 10 to 11 frames. Fortunately, having X-plane crash, not the aircraft, but the program, having it shut down, having to restart it, not the computer, but just the X-plane program, seemed to resolve the issue. Okay, so I'm at the end of the runway, and I am going to do a UE. Okay, and we are lined up. Okay, and okay, before takeoff, okay, so fuel pumps are on, and landing lights are on. You know, I didn't clean the aircraft. I've got a bad habit of landing and getting off the runway and not remembering to clean the aircraft up. Okay, heater is on, and I can let it stay on. Um, didn't taxi. Okay, transponder is. Use a different button. Transponder is okay. Let's get rid of this warning here. Okay, warning lights are out. And oh man, it is hot in here. 82 degrees. So let's actually, for the moment here, go up, and we're gonna turn the cabin heat off. All right, and so let's just run through this stuff here. All right, and we at takeoff. Flight idle check, parking brake check. So we're gonna rotate at 80, set the torque to 44.3, and no, won't have torque below 44.3 and a temp below 800, NG below 104%, and prop speed below 1700, engine oil between 10 and 17 psi. Okay, so we got a short climb, so we may be able to run through that on our takeoff, which may be different than our climb. Yeah, it is different from my climb. Okay, so let's go ahead and take off. It's hard to know how to manage these checklists. Some of them you got to manage from memory. Okay, brakes release. Torque below 44. I'm gonna rotate at 80. 60, 70, 80, rotate, wheels up, positive rate, gear up. And the flaps were mishandled. So flaps up to 15% and flaps off. Flaps raised fully. And we didn't put in our flight plan, but our next waypoint is going to be GSO. So let's go ahead and drop that in. That's Greensboro. And enter. Okay, yeah, I saw the business jet in the fleet. In fact, I sent you a note saying if you would send me that those routes, then I could add some and post them and then send it back to you. That way, we both can add routes if we want to do it that way. Okay. So let's go ahead and have this guy climb us out at 1,000 feet. And let's tell it to capture 5,500. Engage our autopilot. Okay, and auto trim is working hard. Okay. Now let's look at our okay after Greensboro. Then we're gonna do the Liberty VOR. Okay. Yeah, I was actually looking at it. I was actually playing around with it, so I think I see pretty much how to do it. I know it has to be done in a spreadsheet, um, and then the system look at the spreadsheet and determine um, actually put it into the fields. But yeah, but but yeah, fly on out to Aspen. Is that where you headed, Aspen? Let's see if I can open Twitch up and maybe see. Now, are you streaming? Cool. Yeah, well, I'm actually going in the opposite direction. I am headed to Wilmington. I'm doing an FSE flight, and I've got, I guess, about $4,000 or $5,000 worth of passenger tickets on board. Speaking of which, I should go ahead and turn on my half bank and soft ride for their sake, especially given how turbulent the air is. Okay, so do that, and then um, I am trying to figure out if I could see your stream. And okay, so that's why I can't see your stream. Yeah. So I guess you're holding your streaming back for specifically for your flight videos, your flight training videos, perhaps. Okay, so get rid of this autopilot. And now I should be capturing 5,500 feet. I'm showing myself at 4,300 feet. Autopilot is on. So let's climb on up to 5,500. Uh, yeah, let's climb out at 15. That'll slow us down because we're actually flying a little bit fast to be under, well, our speed limit is 250 knots, so I guess we're okay on the indicated. Yeah, I figure now. And one thing that I've been doing occasionally is sometimes I stream directly on Twitch, and sometimes I will stream directly on YouTube. In fact, at some point today, I do intend to do a YouTube specific stream. I did a stream yesterday, a few days ago on YouTube, and um, during the stream. I had to punch through some clouds, and I told them that I wasn't supposed to be, in real life, I wouldn't be able to punch through these clouds because I'm not rated to. And I talked about how easily you can get um, confused in clouds when you not trained for it. So what I want to do is do another video today, and I'm gonna do this on YouTube, and I'm gonna set a thick cloud base and get up in there in probably the 172 and show people, you know, how easily I can get spatial disorientated, even just trying to on, even just trying to watch the instruments, because I'm just not rated. Now that actually works well for you since you're working on your IFR rating. Gives you a chance to practice perhaps some procedures. And for me, if I'm not using the GPS or the autopilot, then I get I get I usually wind up flying in some configure flying towards the ground or flying somewhere, just fighting the artificial horizon and fighting and chasing the vertical speed indicator, um, which the more I do that, the worse it get. Yep. So how long is your flight? This one that I'm taking is, I have to finish loading it up in nautical miles to know what it is in nautical miles. Um, but all told, my whole flight today was 230 something nautical miles. Go ahead and put in my next waypoint, which is a GPS land point rather than a VOR. Land ho. And the one after that one would be Rosbow. Rosebow. R O Z. Wow, three and a half hours. Okay. I'll see you when you get back. Roz, R-O-Z, Zulu. Last letter of the alphabet, Bo. And from there, I think I'm going straight to Wilmington, to the Wilmington, to the Wilmington Aura, and Lima, Mike. I really got to work on my. I really got to work on getting instrument rated for the sim because sometimes I can't fly on the East Coast like today. I can't fly on the East Coast unless I change the weather to weather that I like. Um, of course, I could fly. Oh man, I don't see me on a trek and I'm flying. Let's see, GPS is on. Nav is on. Direct to Greensboro, and I'm see my trek is 218, which don't feel like it's in the right direction. Clear. Enter. Flight plan. And I was actually flying away from Greensboro. Looked like I was trying to fly to Aspen after all. All right, so that's going to cost me some extra time with FSE. And let's see, I thought I had 41 miles to Greensboro, which jumped up to 57. So that's 20 miles times two to get back to the 41 point. So I am going to speed up a little bit because I made that mistake. I am going to push this little Pilatus. And it's getting a little dark, so I'm going to turn some light on. And yeah. So I'm flying just up under the envelope, And let me check. Turn landing lights can come off. Fuel pumps can come off. I'm gonna leave the seatbelt sign on because the air is choppy. And get back in the cockpit. And we're just about done with that turn. So another thing that I'm wondering about is, and you guys can put this in the comments, is when you see me fly, would you like to continue seeing me do the whole flight like I'm doing now, or would you rather I cut out the cruise legs and basically show the parts where I'm actually doing work, like doing taxi takeoff, landing, and taxiing. I know I said taxiing twice because I taxied twice from the old airport and into the new airport. So it's interesting that I'm seeing mountains on the horizon. Wonder what mountain could that be? I know to my west there's the Appalachians, and okay, so I'm flying south. Actually, I'm flying south. Let's see, um, at 70 degrees, basically, and the Atlantic Ocean ought to be at 90 degrees, and at 90 degrees, I shouldn't have any mountains. So if I fly just towards well, if I were to fly a few degrees to my right, then I should be flying directly due east. And anyway, so that's a little bit confusing to me because I wouldn't expect to see mountains off my left wing. I would expect to see them off my quarter, on my right quarter, which would be, if I could look out those windows, that's where I would expect to see the mountains. Hmm. Hey, Dimitri Lee, how you doing, my friend? So I'm doing a flight in the PC-12 with FSE, and I am actually doing my second leg. My first leg was just 32 nautical miles, and I dropped off a couple of passengers in Virginia. I originated out of Statesville, North Carolina, and now I'm flying to Wilmington at 5,500, and I flew a few miles, about 20 miles in the wrong direction. So even though it's choppy, I am pushing the the aircraft. I'm glad to hear you good. You are good. So you working today? Or are you off? The Kodiak, yeah, that's a great aircraft. I actually do intend to pick that one up. I've heard that Thranda Thranda has done a fabulous job with it. So that's one I definitely do want to check out. Yeah, I bet it does. It kind of remind me of a fat belly Cessna. Of course, the I would imagine that the insides are a little different. Yeah, that's an aircraft I do want to check out. This this Pilatus here. One of the things I did a little differently was was I loaded a checklist and was trying to go through it, and that really added to the immersion. Except for there were a few other systems that are not modeled and they're on the checklist, but yet they're not modeled, so I couldn't dial them in, which sucks. Hey, how are you? Not 1907. Sure. So this is the Pilatus, the PC-12, and this is the the second the second fastest silver turboprop aviation available. Of course, the fastest turboprop airplane for civilians is the TBM. Thank you for the follow. Thank you. Um, it is really a nice aircraft, and I do enjoy flying it immensely. I complain about the developer for not modeling some of the systems that I would like to see modeled. Like I can't use the ADF for NDB navigation because my button is not modeled where I can actually change frequencies. Um, and there's some more stuff that's partially modeled but not fully. But other than that, man, it's a great aircraft. It's really a sweet, and I do mean sweet aircraft. So I do see Greensboro, North Carolina, showing up on my scope on my on my scope here, so it shouldn't be long before I get to that VOR, and and then I am going to turn to the slightly to the right to go east. Now, I was just talking a few minutes ago about how I was seeing mountains out of my out of my right window. Yeah, I can still see the mountains, and from how how you can feel which direction you feel like you're flying in, and what ought to be north, south, east, and west. Well, for some reason, it feels like west ought to be on my right. So I feel like when I look out of my right window, I should see the mountains. Likewise, when I look and see that I got to turn to the right, it feels like, well, if I turn to the right, I'm going to be going west, which is in reality is opposite from where I'm really going. Um, in fact, there is a little piece of a compass rose and look like I'm flying, see, 90 degrees east. I'm flying roughly 83 degrees, and I am going to turn to 120 degrees, which would put me southeast. Um, but without that compass rose, it just feels different. And that's amazing because if I didn't have anything to look at to keep me on track, and let's say that I had enough gas to get to one ocean or the other, then I would want to turn right and fly to the Pacific Ocean and turn left and fly to the Atlantic Ocean. But in reality, I would be doing it backwards. Okay, so I am using a system called ACARS uh, that's available from Virtual Sky Aviation. Once you register and become a registered pilot, then you can download the program. And what ACARS does is my it tracks my flying uh, to give me information on how I'm doing, which is really cool. So the first leg of this flight, when I flew from Statesville to Elk Municipal, I had the airport in sight, and I turned left downwind and got lost. Okay, so I'm coming up on my turn, and I should be making my turn in now. Of course, I don't have a crystal ball. My GPS told me about that. I got my half bank on, so it's taking me twice the amount of time to turn than it would if I didn't have half bank on. But I do have 6 passengers above on board, and with this choppiness, I figure I could try and make the flight as comfortable to them as I could. So I got my SR and my HB buttons engaged, soft ride and half bank. Okay. So Dimitri, are you planning to stream this evening, or are you streaming now? And I thought I saw an airport up under me. I was wondering if I might be to see my aircraft from the ground, but I can't. That does not surprise me. that the airport that I saw should have been Greensboro, and I couldn't see the aircraft from the ground, but I can see the airport from the air. And my ground speed is 250 knots. My indicated speed is 230 knots. Um, so I'm pushing it. My next waypoint is Liberty, and I actually thought about doing a VAT sim. Okay, so you're gonna fly later on. I actually thought about doing a VAT sim flight today, which I did yesterday. I did do some VAT sim ATC yesterday, um, but it's the weather wouldn't permit. As you can see, I'm flying on the East Coast, but you don't see in the clouds. That's because I turned real weather off, and I don't know if VATSIM like. Well, I don't think they really care, but I didn't want to fly in IMC conditions and tell the controllers that I want to fly VFR. So, with that said, I, I really need to get VFR rated. Um, I suspect, Dimitri, that you would get VFR rated before I do. And that's because I've been doing this for a couple of years since I started back and have not really pushed myself outside my comfort levels. YouTube chat. I am not seeing the chat box. Add source. And Twitch chat box. Okay, so I wasn't seeing the chat box pop up, and it went away, so I just had to bring it back. Now, my dog feels neglected, so I promised him that as soon as I finish this flight, okay, I'm at Liberty, look like I'm making my turn towards Wilmington. Ah, cool. Aspen is all the more richer for that. Now, Aspen, it's kind of tough bringing an embryo into Aspen, is it? I promised my dog that I would take him for a walk today. And he's been feeling neglected because I've been using his walk time to sim. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Gotcha. Um, I was doing a fly-in with with virtual club, virtual GA flying club the other day, and we flew from Grand Junction. I was on leg two from Grand Junction to Aspen using Pilatus, and I missed my turn and got lost. Oh, cool. I have shot a couple. Oh, I have shot a couple RNAV approaches a few months ago into San Luis Obispo, Obispo, Obispo in California, and but I really need to work on my instruments, and I still as easy as ILS approaches are. I rarely do those because a lot of times with a lot of airports, the ILS, okay, okay, approaches. A lot of times the ILS approaches the lock slash DME, localizer DME. Um, a lot of times the ILS is only for the opposite runway and not the active runway. So that's why I haven't done a lot of ILS approaches. So let's see what where I am at. I've got oh man, I still got 120 knots to go before I reach my destination. Um, so I'm flying about 220 knots. So that makes it, I guess, roughly about an hour. The saving grace is that if I was driving this, it would take several hours to get from Greensboro to Wilmington. I missed my fourth flight app on my iPad because I could always look at that and it would tell me exactly how long I had. Um, but I do intend to pay another $100 and renew my Ford flight subscription. But right now, I got too many other things that got dibs on the next $100 that I have to spend. I want, and I want, and I want it now. if it wasn't for eating, I might be able to buy more stuff. Maybe I should just stop eating. Then that way I can get more of what I want, right? You think that any of you guys think that'll work? Try it. All right. You know, by that same logic, if I could stop sleeping, I could probably get a lot more work done too. So let's jump into the sky vector map and see if we can't get an appreciation for where we are. Let's try to get over. It'd be nice if I could get over the United States in real life as fast as I can on the sky vector map. Okay, Gettysburg, that looks like it might be Pennsylvania. The tail for Washington. Zoom out a little bit here. And I can't tell which way I'm going. Uh, Somehow or another, I wound up down in South America. So let's just do this KGSO and look at all those red spots, guys. It is definitely the blue is marginal VFR, the red is IFR. Um, and I still can't, even though I put KGS. Oh, there we go. All right. So I'm somewhere. Let's see. I am approaching Land Ho. So that means that I've already crossed Liberty, and Land Ho is out here somewhere. Let's just do this. KGSO to KILM. And I do remember when I put in my route, I did not want to fly into it. I specifically flew to avoid the MOAs, which is okay to fly into the MOAs, but I just decided to avoid them. So Land Ho should be right here around Wilmington. I mean, not Wilmington, but Lilliton. Um, and Hornet Regional, Fuquay, Raleigh. I don't, well, let's see. Let's put Land Ho. Okay, yeah. So there is Land Ho here, just north of. Okay, now I'm at Land Ho, so I'm actually making that turn. Um, So, with that said, oh no, no, I was at Lilith. Man, I'm way ahead of myself. Um, yeah, yeah. Just made the turn into Land Ho. My next waypoint is Rosbow, Rosebow, and Rosebow. So Rosebow is down here somewhere because I didn't want to fly into the Seymour Johnson, the Elko MOA. And I should, let's see if I see it. It should be up in here somewhere. And I apologize for the little small map. Oh, there it is, right here. Um, I apologize for the little small map you guys have to contend with. Okay, so that's Rosebow. And I am 5 minutes from that guy, 24 miles. I'm still pushing the Pilatus, flying it somewhat faster than what the POH recommend for cruise. And I'm flying it a lot lower than one would normally want to fly aircraft like this. Can't see it from the ground. And wonder if I can zoom in. Okay, there I am. There I am. So, so yep. And as turbulent as it is, that would actually, uh, I'm sorry guys, I had the map in front of you. Let me do that again without the map up. um, okay. All right. So let's see if we can get on the ground again and see the aircraft. So I can't see the aircraft, but there I am. I don't know what airport I'm at, but whatever camera I'm using has some remarkable capability because I can actually see into the aircraft. Okay. And Pilatus 9875, November. And that below us should be the Cape Fear. Um, the river that is. The little S1 river should be the Cape Fear. Couldn't tell you what highway that is. And this is flying southeast. Might be, could be 40. Could very well be 40. Um, 40 runs into Wilmington. Now, if 40 runs into Wilmington, then it would stand to reason that 40 would be off my, feels like 40 should be off my right wing. I'm sorry, off my left wing. Um, but I have a tendency to to get things backwards when I'm in this sim for some reason. So the highway below us that we're looking at um, could very well be 40. Or perhaps that's not a highway at all. I can't really tell, but it could be a trunk, a transmission clearing. Now that's a highway, so that might have been a transmission clearing. Okay, so I am between Landho and Rosbo, and and so the highway that I was just looking at was 95. That's the um, that's the major interstate that trans that that goes between those 2 points. And I am turning, so I am really making fairly good time. Um, my I'm 12 minutes out from the Wilmington VOR, and I got a ground speed roughly of 254 knots. So I am using A cars to track the flight, and A cars is really a great aircraft communication and reporting system. If you want to use A cars to track your flights, then you can get a free copy by joining Virtual Sky Aviation at virtualskyaviation.org. And once you register, then it will miraculously appear in your download as one of your in the download folder. In which case, you can get it and install it, and it will give you the opportunity to track how well you are handling the aircraft. Some of the things that it does while it's tracking is it can tell you whether or not you are taxiing too fast on whether you taxi it too fast on the taxiway, whether or not you started the aircraft without the beacon light running engaged. Um, it can tell you how well your landings were, whether you did a good landing, whether you botched the landing. It can tell you whether or not you stalled the aircraft while you were in flight. And what it does is it grab all this information and stack it and give you averages so that over time you can tell how well you're improving or not. Um, it's really a great aircraft if I mean it's really a great reporting system. So go ahead and go to skyaviation.org and grab the ACARS system. And while you're at Sky Aviation, then if you're a newbie, uh, there is a flight academy that's been offered, and I think the idea is that as soon as we get to a point where there's a at least a few people signed up, then a notice will go out advising you exactly when it will commence, and you will be able to learn some part 91 and part 135 procedures um, in the flight academy. So that ought to help you in your immersion tremendously. And if you intend to get a pilot's license, then that would definitely jumpstart you uh, in your PPL training. So I'm 33 miles out from Wilmington, and I am still maxing out my L speed. So I'm gonna pull it back just a touch and go ahead and slow the aircraft till about 200 knots. And my ETA will recalculate because as I slow down, of course, my ETA is going to increase or stay the same, in which case it actually went up. So rather than 7 minutes and 32, I'm at 7 minutes and 38 minutes. Okay, I'm at the speed that I want to maintain, 200 knots. And let's go ahead and get our ADAS for Wilmington. So Wilmington's ADAS is not, and I know I need to write this down, is 124.975. Control tower is 119.9. Ground ground is 121.9. And once we get our ADAS, then we can decide which runway we're going to take. Since I don't have ATC, then I'm going to have to determine my own runway. Okay, so ADAS. 124.95. Whoa, it says okay, that's from, uh, all right, so I've got ADAs in the box, 124.95 on COM2, and I may be just a little bit out of range. So we'll just leave that radio on, and hopefully the ADAs will come alive as soon as I get in the range. Um, which, if I'm only 17 miles from the Wilmington, I should be only 25 miles from the airport. So I really should be getting the ADAs by now. All right, so I am not sure why I'm not getting ADAs. Let me check my frequency. $124.975. Yep, that's why. And let's drop that in there. And let's make that 975.
Wilmington information.
There we go.
Romeo. 2000 Zulu weather. Wind 320 at 8. Visibility more than 10. Sky clear. Temperature 4. Dew point -33. Altimeter 3004. Arriving runway 35. Departing runway 35.
Okay.
Advise on initial contact. You have Romeo.
Wind is 220 at 8, and the altimeter didn't change, and we're gonna expect 3.5. So let's now I'm gonna look back at the map and figure out what 3.5 looks like. 3.5. Okay, so 3.5 is gonna put us on a downwind. We're gonna do a left downwind over and cross 6/24 and come in for 3.5. Or we could do, I don't, I don't, I was gonna say we could do the localizer for 3.5, but I need to do some practicing. I need to practice the localizer on my own. Okay, so I need to get back in the airplane. And we are 11 miles from Wilmington, so we may be able to see it. But we can't yet. And boy, it's 4:30 already. It's unreal. Okay. And my dog is super impatient now. Okay, so let's just back up our field of view. I tell you, okay, so we are turning towards the airport now. Airport ought to show up off our nose, and we are still at 5,500. Airport is almost at sea level. So let's take the aircraft. It's my aircraft. And we're going to power back to idle. And there's the airport right off our nose. So, um, so I'm going to fly. I'm looking for some landmarks so I can use them to get lined up. Um, so I'm going to fly to this lake here on ahead in the 2-4 and turn around and then do a tight turn and fly back to the airport. Okay. All right. So landing lights come on, initial steps on, fuel pumps on, seatbelts on, and no smoking on. And we are bleeding off our altitude nicely. Still a little bit too fast for gear. We need to be below 177 knots to put our gear down. Okay, so we're over the lake. And we can start our turn. And I do want a tight turn. Okay. So, man, we are back over the airport, so we didn't fly out for enough. Okay. Um, so I am going to do a 180 here and fly back over the lake. Okay, so I want to line up with 2-4 in my 180, and I need to stop gaining so much altitude on my turns. One thing about my turns is, oh man, when I was up at 5,000, the lake felt like it was about 2 or 3 miles from the airport, but in reality, it wasn't. And I'm back over 200 knots. I tell you, that speed can get away from you. Okay, so my low fuel lights are on, but that's okay. I should have enough to land. Okay, now I'm 5 miles out, so I'm gonna make this turn again. I'm actually gonna cross the water. I said 5 miles. Actually I'm 4 miles out, and get back down. Okay, so I want to make a tight turn. Okay, so keep that turn tight. Don't sink. And don't sink. On some of these, see now, let's find the airport again. Okay, there's the airport, there's my runway. Get lined up here. Pull my nose up to bleed off some speed. Gear down. And flaps 15. And flaps 30. Coming in a little hot here. I'm 2 miles out and still 2,000 feet above the runway. Got some tower obstacles here, but I'm well over them. I'm picking up my glide slope as we speak. I'm on the glide slope now. Found a notch of flaps. Power back to idle. Get back over the runway. And it says I had a good landing. Really wanted to butter that one, but just ain't in the cards today. And I'm not sure what side of the airport my FBO is on, so I'm just gonna pick a side. That's something else that you need to plan for is where to go once you get off the runway. And I am clear the runway. ATC has asked me to taxi on to the ramp. Yeah, I did land. Didn't do the best job, but it I had a good landing, which for the rating system that I use, it doesn't use terms like butter. I got excellent. I think it's excellent, good, acceptable, um, and I know the worst one is oh, after acceptable, then it says you're fired, and after that, it says did anybody survive? No, no, did anybody survive? Um, and then the worst one I think is rest in peace. So I've had a few rest in pieces. Resting, yeah, and no pun. Well, actually, I didn't intend the pun, but yep, rest in pieces was probably is probably applicable to some of my landings. Okay, so I am on the ground Let's get rid of these. Let's let our passengers off. Your flight is logged and the results can be found at the website. Your aircraft is no longer rented, and if you want to continue, you must re rent the aircraft. Okay, so let's power down. All right, and I am not going to use the checklist to power down because my dog is fussing. All right, so we are going to turn off our inertia sets, turn our landing lights off, strobe come off, beacon can stay on, seat belts, let the passengers move about because, of course, they got to unbuckle to get off. And once they're out of the aircraft, they can smoke them if they have them. Ignition is fine. Generator can go to battery, and avionics can go off. And environmental control can go off. EPS can go off. And and fix our trim here. Trim is fixed, and feather to cut off, and generator 2 and 1 can go off. Battery 1 2 is off, and then battery um, beacon goes off and battery 1 goes off. All right, and we are on the ground and are out of the aircraft. Oh man, I didn't clean my flaps up. I have a I have the turbulence. I have a terrible time remembering to clean up my aircraft when I cross the whole short line when I'm exiting the runway. I never tend to turn my landing lights off, transition to taxi lights, and raise my flaps. Simple. Clean up the aircraft. And I keep forgetting to do that. Anyway, guys, it's been an experience. I will be back today at some point. My next stream I've got planned is going to be on YouTube, so I'm going to stream directly the um, from the system to YouTube. And on that stream, one of my viewers want to see how I why it's so easy to get lost or get spatial disorientated in clouds. So I'm gonna do a video to show him that. And Dimitri Lee says, "Me too," and I'm sure he's talking about cleaning up the aircraft. All right, so with that, Dimitri Lee, GA pilot, NADA 1907, and the youth DS. Um, I appreciate all you guys for stopping by, and I'm sure that I will check Dimitri Lee out sometime later on his stream. Um, okay, guys, with that, remember a good pilot is always learning. 3, 2, 1.